What's going on, Wiggler Nation? Mother Coconuts here. Monster Hunter's 14 weapon healer main with the heals for yo feels, potions for yo emotions, and tissues for yo issues. Today we're going to be discussing a few options to be able to use different types of controllers other than the standard Joy-Cons that come with your Nintendo Switch. With Monster Hunter Rise's demo coming out recently, a lot of players have noticed either the drift on their Joy-Cons getting too bad, or they're just not comfortable with that type of playstyle. In today's video, I'm going to be going over a few extra different styles of controllers that allow you guys to use anything up to a PS5 controller, a PS4 controller, 8-bit Do SN30 Plus, or my personal favorite option, you're going to be using the 8-bit Do adapter. It's only 20 bucks. Let's get into the video. If you guys, by the way, want to check me out live on Twitch, it is on my description down below. It is twitch.tv/mothercoconuts. I stream mainly Monster Hunter, and I hunt with all my viewers mostly all of the time whenever I'm live, unless I'm with other content creators and collaborations. If you're interested in joining or feel like I've missed anything in this video, feel free to join up with me live and discuss it further. Alright, now that the intro's out of the way, here's the premise. You're using your Nintendo Switch with your regular Joy-Cons for Monster Hunter Rise. Whether it's handheld or whether it's on the actual dock, so you're playing it on your TV, you're going to be using normally what comes with the Nintendo Switch, which is the original Joy-Cons. Now, the device itself is fantastic because you're able to use it. It's very portable, it's lightweight, and it will work for the most part, but as you use it, I personally have larger hands than most, and I've noticed that I cramp up a bit while I'm using these Joy-Cons, whether even if it's inside its pre-docked station where it comes with the Switch where you have it kind of in a handheld mode. It's just awkward for me to hunt in Monster Hunter with this kind of controller, and it just doesn't feel right to my hands. With that said, I have a few other options that I personally use, whether it's on handheld mode or even docked, and normally I'm playing the Switch docked, especially for Monster Hunter, that I'm going to discuss with you guys and kind of give you a few of my own opinions and hopefully share some of the things here. So any of the links to whatever you see in this video will be in the description down below for you to further check out, investigate, and possibly purchase if you feel like. And if you end up picking those things up from my description down below, it ends up supporting the channel too, so thank you very much. Okay. So first off, I want to talk about the Nintendo Switch playing on handheld mode. So the nunchucks or the Joy-Cons are much too small for me personally, and I needed something a little bit bigger to hold in my hands and kind of make the console be more comfortable while I'm playing the game. And I found that with the Hori gamepad for Joy-Cons for the Nintendo Switch. Now these Joy-Cons are not battery operated, so they don't take a charge, they only work with it docked onto the Switch itself. But it is a pretty good looking Switch dock where it's kind of like a larger controller, almost like an Xbox style controller, and the Joy-Cons are much more comfortable in your hands while you're playing longer play sessions. Obviously hunts are going to take sometimes anything upwards from like 10 to 15 to sometimes 30 minutes depending on how many monsters are in the hunt. And after a long gaming session, I can't take my hands being cramped, especially since I'm on stream so much of myself. Now, this is an excellent option because it opens it up. It kind of gives you the ability to have something better in your hands to play with, but more importantly also retains all the functionalities and has a couple extra functions just baked in that are extra in my opinion. You have some button remappings in the back. So on the back of the controller, you're going to see that we have the ability to map some of the buttons on that side of the controller with a assign button and teach it when you press this button in the back, what button on this side of the stick or the same side on the right side where you hit assign, and then you teach the controller what button you want to use when you hit that back button. So it kind of gives you a little extra edge when you're playing on the go, especially when you're hunting and you have to swap back and forth between certain items. You could be able to do it with this back option. Also has a turbo function, not necessarily going to be used for games like Monster Hunter Rise, but all in all a neat function if you're playing something like a Shovel Knight or a fighting game where you got to just press the same kind of button over and over and over again. It gives you a nice little addition to that. Alright, now we're starting to switch things up into the world where you have your Nintendo Switch docked into its dock and it's displaying on your TV, and you need a controller other than the original Joy-Cons to play with. First up on that list, I'm going to have two different controller types for this. Is the SN30 Pro Plus from 8-Bit Dough. 8-Bit Dough is the company I'm going to be talking about here for the rest of the video, because even though I'm not sponsored by them, I've used many of their products and they've lasted a very, very long time. Their quality is excellent. There seems to be no issues on my end with terms of input lag with my games. I play fighting games. I play a lot of Monster Hunter where button timing and presses are very important, like in GU, for example, and I'm not really seeing that to be an issue when I'm using these controllers. So like I said, first up on the list is your SN30 Pro Plus. So it comes in a variety of colors and such, but more importantly, it's a Bluetooth controller that directly connects to your Nintendo Switch. So with this controller, you can connect it directly to your Switch. If you have a Bluetooth capability on your PC, it can connect to your PC, it can connect to your phone, and it actually has different methods of connecting. So when you turn it on and boot it up, you can tell the controller what console you'll be going into. So this controller is excellent if you are looking for purchasing a controller within the $40 to $50 price range. I'll have a link to it down in the description for exact prices on Amazon. But if you want to pick up an actual controller, it's third party, but it still functions beautifully with the system. It's very synergistic and it detects it as a Switch Pro controller, which is nice. Feel free to pick this guy up. The next controller type, however, though, is my personal favorite and what I personally use when I play my Nintendo Switch anywhere. That's docked. It's going to be quite the interesting one. Alright, so the method that I use personally when I play my Nintendo Switch dock is using the 8-Bit Dough controller adapter. So this dongle is $20 and it's shaped kind of like in the style of a Mario brick, but it's a $20 adapter that most of the people in Monster Hunter Rise, or people in general that are getting a Nintendo Switch for this Monster Hunter game, have played World, whether it's on PC, Xbox, PS4, PS5 even now, and they've been using their own personal controllers that they've gotten accustomed to the controls and playing Monster Hunter on. Then they jump over to the Nintendo Switch and they're forced to use a Joy-Con, and they come up with a couple of crossroads here. Either they continue playing with this, there may be drift on it, or maybe down the road their just hands get too cramped and they can't play and have those longer gamer sessions that they're used to when they're playing with their PS4, PS5, or Xbox. Or they shell out another $60 for a Pro controller that they may not enjoy as much either, because it sometimes can be a very different experience, and some people just don't like the grip of those kind of controllers and they prefer their own personal controls that they've been using since day one. Then you have the next group of people that learn about the 8-Bit Dough adapter. It's USB, it plugs into your dock, and when you do that, you're able to connect your PS5, PS4, Xbox 360, any Bluetooth controller you're able to connect to this dongle connected to your dock, and it thinks it's a connected, wired Nintendo Switch Pro controller. How's the lag, you ask? I play this personally on stream. People have been seeing me play Monster Hunter Rise specifically on my Twitch channel with a PS5 controller, and I constantly get questions asking how this is working, what kind of sorcery is this, what's the setup like, how does it feel? I personally love my PS5 controller, and before the PS5 came out, I've been using my PS4 controller on all of my Switch games, and I can't tell you guys how appreciative I am that I'm able to use my favorite controllers that feel the best in my hands, that I'm most familiar with my Switch. It just completely changes the gameplay, it makes it more comfortable. The only quote-unquote downside I could ever see is that the buttons layouts and the button prompts won't match up. So if it's telling you to press YAB, you gotta convert it to your PlayStation language, so to speak. But after a while, that doesn't really become an issue. It's just something you get used to when it comes to playing the game. So I think this option, to me personally, is the best option out of the pre-mentioned options I did in today's video. And I just wanted to definitely make a YouTube video sharing this kind of information with you guys, because I get this question every time I stream Monster Hunter World. I'm using a PS5 controller on my PS4 gameplay, I'm using it on my PC, I'm playing Monster Hunter Rise, and people are asking, how are you using a PS5 controller on your Rise experience? So take that information, hunters. Get one of these adapters today. Like I said, all the links to all of the products I was talking about today are in the description down below. And if you click on those and purchase it that way, you're actually indirectly supporting my channel because it's an affiliate link, so thank you if you end up picking it up. Happy hunting, everyone, and if you want to catch me live on my Twitch channel, it's twitch.tv/mothercoconuts. And I stream every week, and weekends are optional for me. And my hunts are always open to my viewers. Thank you very much for your time. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, share the video with a friend, guys. And with that said, keep it wiggly, nation. I'll catch you on the next one.